Hi everyone, welcome to episode 50. 50 of these bad boys. 50 of these bad boys we've been doing now since August. Honestly, can't believe we've reached our 50th episode. And we are year's anniversary coming up in less than a month's time. It's absolutely amazing. Just want to say thanks to every single person who has watched us through the year and stuck with us, because of course we were pretty brutal when we first started, the three of us. Unfortunately, Casey can't make it tonight because of the house moving and the packing he's doing. And hopefully Richard Inferno Miniatures might pop in and help me co-host later on. Alright, Lazy Painter Servitor, thanks for joining, bud. Hope you're well. So yeah, 50. I can't believe we've managed to get to 50. Want to just say thanks to everybody again who's stuck by us, subscribed to the YouTube, watched us on Spotify as well. Thanks to everybody, and hopefully we'll have the Baron Paints join us soon. I see he's just came in, and we'll see. If you just want to send me a request, mate, I'll add you in to the chat. But yeah, 50, and then tomorrow at the mighty St Mirren are going to be playing fresh young man with more hair up there and less hair there and way less hair down there. And again, Casey can't make it.
Happy 50th!
Yay! Thanks very much. That's brilliant, man. That's absolutely class.
There you go. There's the logo on there.
Man. That's fucking class. You actually did more than what we've done. Thanks very much for joining us on our 50th episode, man. We can't believe we've actually managed to get to 50. And thanks to you for actually agreeing to come on and tell us about your hobby journey and that. So how you keeping today?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. Yeah, I'm recording from the office, but yeah, it's been good. Yeah, I'm excited to be on. Thanks for having me.
Casey sends his apologies because he's moving still and he's still finding stuff he needs to pack up and that. So yeah, he can't make it, but we might, as I said before, we might have it Inferno Miniatures, and don't worry, he'll ask you about 30,000 questions inside about 1 minute if he comes on. So might as well just kick it off and just ask you, what age were you when you first got into Warhammer? You know the first question by now. What age were you? Who got you into it, and what was the first mini that you painted? And most of all, we've lost them. Hi, Jen, Lord of Cats. Hope you're well. Can you all still see me? It just kicked me. Yeah, I see that now. Hey, DHD. How you doing? See if we can get you back on now, pal. Yeah, we lost them.
There we go.
There we go.
It's good start.
It wouldn't be Instagram, and it wouldn't be an Inquisition without Instagram messing us about at some point.
You've got to have at least one.
We've got to have
at least one technical fault.
Yeah. So the usual first question, you know, by now, man. What age were you? What age were you? What was the first mini, and who got you into the plastic crack addiction?
Yeah, so I joined kind of way back in 3rd edition. That kind of, the iconic John Blanche Black Templars, kind of the one that everyone loves. And I think I was around maybe 12, 13, so I was quite young. And I got into it. There's a few of my friends brought in some Space Marines in a little Tupperware to school. So that's kind of where I first saw them. And then as soon as I saw it, and then I saw the rule book, I was kind of I was already hooked. So yeah, it's kind of way back when. But yeah, and then the first minis I got were with that kind of 5-man Space Marine box. They're really blocky kind of classic sculpts. Just really painted so badly, kind of dunked in black, and then just obviously that young, you don't really care about the paint. But yeah, it was that was my first one, and then I was a bit of a serial kind of army jumper. I was a bit of a kind of bit of a magpie. I'd see something shiny, and I'd immediately like go to the next thing. So I ended up having just like a whole load of nothing basically, because I'd had just boxes from different armies. I'd see like the old kind of chaos stuff, and then I dip into the fantasy stuff as well. So yeah, it was kind of quite a diverse range that I had. But yeah.
And have you stuck with it like throughout since you've been 12, or did you have like that kind of normal break? What we're finding with people is that when they start finding alcohol and women in university or college, they kind of fall away from it. Did you suffer from that yourself?
Yeah, I'm quite kind of I've got quite a kind of the typical story that a lot of people have, where like you say, you get to kind of your late teens and you start kind of, like you say, finding alcohol and going out more with friends and stuff. And yeah, just I think a lot of my friendship group that we kind of used to game together, that kind of we all kind of drifted away from the hobby, and I didn't really join back again till I think it was 2017. So it was before COVID.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've had quite a long break, and I really didn't kind of get involved with any of the kind of community side of things. So I was quite late to the game with making an Instagram account and kind of joining in. And yeah, so I think since I've done it, I only started last August. So I kind of wished I'd kind of carried on, for a bit longer, because I felt like I'd missed out quite a big chunk. But I'm enjoying it, kind of getting stuck in now.
And what got you back? What got you back into doing it in 2017? Because, as you said, like it's typical that a lot of people go back into it mainly through COVID and that. But 2017, what was that? What was the reasoning behind that?
Yeah, so it was a friend of mine that was he kind of started looking at the models again. We've been friends since we were like 3 years old, so he's one of my oldest mates. Well, the oldest mate I've got, and he started kind of getting back into it, and then I think he was kind of like trying to kind of coax me into to kind of have someone to play against and like collect with. So eventually I caved, and then I kind of never looked back since. Really, I'm well and truly kind of hooked again, and properly this time, I suppose. When you're an adult, you have a bit more kind of disposable income or whatever. It's not just like pocket money. So yeah, you kind of go down the rabbit hole a little bit.
And just going back to when you first started collecting, how annoying was it for your parents? Because like it's not something we've actually asked anybody. Like just the parental side of it. Like, how was that?
Yeah.
Like, was it just like you'll get it for your Christmas, you'll get it for your birthdays, or that sort of?
Yeah, I think so. I think it was very much pestering parents for things on birthdays. I mean, it was a lot cheaper back then, so you get like the blister packs of like one like lead model and stuff. So it was a lot easier to kind of, I think, than it is nowadays to get like a single mini or something. So, but I think they probably would be a bit annoyed, because I mean we used to play at a local gaming club, so it would always be pestering them for lifts to go down there, and take us to battle. It was called Battle Scar, so it was like, take us to Battle Scar. But I think they were probably happy like chucking us there for however like half a day or whatever, and just going off and actually having a weekend. So I think they probably quite liked it, actually, because we just occupied for a little while. But
yeah, because like I know you've got kids and that, and they're probably nowhere near as old as mine. Like my youngest is 17 and my oldest is going to be 30 in a few weeks. But yeah, that definitely comes back to bite you in the arse, the whole giving lifts everywhere. And I'm like, I'll complain about giving my son lifts places, but then I'll go and do it. You know what I mean? So yeah, don't worry, your parents will have their revenge when your kids get older and you'll be ferrying them about places. Now, when I was younger, I was a bit of a disaster. Still am. I'm very clumsy. Did you spill much paint over your parents' carpets?
Not on the carpet, but definitely on the table. Like, I think yeah, that kitchen table took a beating. It was just, uh, chaos black everywhere. Goblin green all over the shop. It was it was a disaster zone.
Yeah. Like my mum would never let me paint downstairs. I was always in my room, and like once the first paint spilled in the carpet, I started to try and move furniture about my room tactfully, and
Yeah.
then to move my bed one day, and it was just like covered in like red and like mental. So it was absolutely livid. But
Yeah.
what
So
can you do?
my
And
I was going to say my mum's actually she's quite like artistic herself. So I actually got her to paint one of my one of my minis. I used to have one of the, I think it was like third or fourth edition Bloodthirster, the like big horrible metal one that's impossible to glue together, and she painted it like really well. And I used to go around saying that I'd done it, and it was just like it would be that amazing piece next to mine, kind of like just awful, awful. No one was believing that for a second, but
I just want to say in the chat that we don't condone ADHD miniatures earlier when he was a young child doing a wee bit of shoplifting for the old plastic crap back in the day. But he's also saying, who remembers Emerald Green from Citadel, the metallic green? Yeah, like I think we've all had memories of that bad boy, don't we?
definitely, yeah. I kind of miss the old paint sometimes, but I think they've come a long way now. You know, they probably got less lead in them, that's for sure.
Yeah, I think we're probably a lot safer. I think that's maybe why my hair was falling
Well,
out. I think
yeah,
that's probably why all our hair's falling out with lead miniatures and lead in the paint and being in classrooms with asbestos. No wonder we're, you know what I mean? It's madness. Like, so you get back into it in 2017. Did you know what army you were going to do then, or was it like going back to when you were 12 or 13 and dabbling in all different armies?
um, I I think I'm much more of a kind of visual kind of person. So I picked something that I thought looked cool to paint, and that's why I went for Filthy Xenos, Drukari, Dark Eldar as they were. I thought these guys look really cool to paint. They look quite interesting, got loads of details compared to the Space Marines, which are obviously quite kind of quite plain for the most part. So I thought, yeah, I'll go for them, and sort of immediately regretted it. But I'd already kind of bought like a fair bit, so I was kind of like, oh, I'm done now. That's this, I've made my bed. I've got to sleep in it now. So but I think I accidentally kind of picked them just before they went really quite kind of meta in like ninth edition. So it was a bit of a happy accident, really. But yeah, that's really kind of what influenced me, was just, and that's kind of what influences the choices I make with a lot of my kind of hobbying, is what do I think looks
Yeah.
interesting, and it doesn't matter kind of what it is. I'm trying to kind of, like I said before, when I used to kind of jump around and do lots of different armies, I'm trying to contain myself a little bit now as an adult, and not kind of go into old kid Tom and have 17 armies. But it is tricky.
I mean, it's hard, especially now being an adult with disposable income. It's like, do the kids really need a new pair of shoes? Like, I really do like this dreadnought, or I really do like this
Yeah,
orc mad
yeah,
plane that somebody's glued
yeah.
together. Like, I could really be doing with that. But
Exactly. I mean, dreadnoughts are. I mean, that's my favorite. I think that's my favorite mini. Just, I love dreadnoughts, and I would definitely buy an extra dreadnought over shoes any day. You could get two. The Redemptors are massive. You can wear them.
yeah, that is true. You probably could, and your kids would be the most fashionable children in the playground, I suppose. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I like, so obviously you came back, and I think with everybody, we all start off with the Citadel paints, and we then transgress into other different painting brands. Just because we had the army painter guy on last week, are you still predominantly Citadel, or have you moved, or yeah, I'm kind of like a mongrel where if I see a paint I like from Green Stuff World or Army Painter or Vallejo, I'll use that. Are you like that as well?
I've started to now, but I think the Citadel stuff was always what I knew. So I most of my stuff is Citadel, but like I said, when I took a break from everything, I really didn't have any idea of how big the online community of like hobbying was, and how much people share like tips and stuff. So I just knew Citadel, and I thought, oh, I'll just get them because I know they work. But like I said, since I've kind of made an account and started to see what's out there, and like talking to people as well that have recommended stuff, I'm much more of a I've got much more diverse range of stuff. Not like a huge range, but I'm starting to delve into kind of different brands and stuff. I quite like the Too Thin Coat stuff by Duncan Rose. That I find them quite good to use, especially the metallic stuff. Is pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard good stuff about that. Like, I've not bought any yet, mainly because like, there's not really many hobby shops where I'm from, and then you're having to buy it online and then get like paying for shipping and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And is that the same with your brushes? Or are you Citadel, or are you doing? Or it feels as though Citadel is where people paint, but it's the brushes that people use. They seem to be from everywhere. Artis Opus or Newton and Windsor. What kind of brushes is it you use?
I mean, I traditionally have been quite sort of frugal with my like buying brushes and stuff. I didn't really realize that the better the brush, the kind of it does help, but I didn't really kind of know that. So I would just buy stuff off Amazon or from a local hobby shop or something. They weren't even branded, some of them, but I really like the Army painted brushes. I had a great detail brush that lasted me like, I don't know, 3 years or something before it finally died. So I think I don't think you have to get a mega kind of sort of fancy brush, but I mean it does. I think it does help to kind of keep its like shape and stuff. I just bought myself an Artis Opus one, but that's like the only nice brush I've got, and I'm like really scared to use it because I don't want to like screw it up.
Yeah, I've got two brushes that I bought. I think it's that mental hair, and like they're still in the box, the wee tube that they came in, because I'm not scared that I'll end up ruining them. Because I'm bad for getting one brush and then using it for everything. Do you know what I mean? Like fine detail, basing, shading, metallics. I'll just use the one brush for everything.
Yeah,
I'm trying to stop that.
yeah.
Are you the same, or are you
I'm the same as you. Yeah, I think I'm the same as you. I used to just use one thing, and I didn't really realize that the different paints can affect the brush in a different way. And I've just seen on the chat ADHD saying Rosemary & Co and brush soap. Like I just bought some brush soap with that Artis Opus thing. That's kind of the reason why I bought the extra cleaning stuff, because I was like, I need to up my kind of cleaning game here and actually take care of these. But yeah, I think I use kind of old kind of knackered brushes for things that like base coating and stuff, and then I try and save my nice brushes for like the detail. Try and keep them going a bit longer.
And what are you currently painting this now?
Currently painting a few different bits. I'm working on some Drukhari rack conversions that I've slowly been posting. They're quite fun. I use like a Necromunda. I use the Ash Waste gang from Necromunda as a base, and then the kind of because I previously made a like a homunculus character, Kit Bash from like a Delat gang. So the idea is that this character has kind of resurrected these Ash Waste nomads to fight for the Drukhari. So they're quite. So I've kind of got like given them like extra arms that are coming out of their like sides and stuff, and I've kind of given them all new weapons and stuff like that. So
what was the thinking behind that? Just that you wanted to do something different? Or?
Yeah, I mean, I'm really into my kind of kit bashing and kind of conversions. So the homunculus character I made, I think I saw an image of the one of the Delat gang members on the Warhammer website, and I just immediately saw it and I was like, that looks really cool, and I reckon I can do something interesting with that for Drukhari. And I needed a homunculus that's most of the stuff I do is kind of like, what do I need for my list, or what do I need for to kind of complete my army. So I saw that thing and I thought, I reckon I could do something interesting with that, and I ended up just chucking loads of random parts on it, like tubes and stuff from Space Marine aggressors and kind of different like limbs and arms and stuff, and it turned out really cool. So I thought, well, now I've done that, I want to kind of make a retinue for this guy and have kind of develop a story a little bit, because I think normally I would just kind of glue stuff together, wouldn't really think about any kind of lore, or I wouldn't really kind of think about it too carefully, but I quite like the idea of thinking of a backstory, and that kind of, it gives it a bit more flavor, and I think it just makes the mini a bit more interesting as well. So that's something I'm trying to be doing.
100%. Like, what is, like, because I've done that, I did that with my Death Guard, and then I had a few, because I bought the No Fear box set, and obviously you get Space Marines. So I was going to go, my backstory was that the Space Marines were loyal Death Guard that get separated and stayed loyal to the Emperor, but they never recruited. So that's why I had a small amount, and they were hunting down other Death Guard. But then it just get too complicated, and I gave them away to Penge. So, but what would be the backstory to your Drukhari then? Have you got a wee backstory that you can summarise for us?
I'm kind of like, I'm starting to kind of develop it a bit. I mean, mine are quite like nautical themed. So I've got kind of witches with like octopus heads and stuff. I try and think about. It's based on kind of I know that like Camorra is like a city, so the idea is that it's kind of, they kind of exist more outworld and raid, and then come back to Camorra, like to kind of replenish their numbers or whatever. So it's that kind of idea. I'm still developing the story a little bit, but that's the basic kind of backstory.
And you find that helps you paint your models a wee bit better and gives you that kind of motivation to paint them a wee bit more?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and I think the biggest thing for me is seeing stuff online and seeing what other people are doing. That actually influences me to try new things and try different techniques and stuff. Oh yeah, I just seen on the chat there, Old World, Dark Elves, Pirates. I've got some Hellions, which no one uses in 10th because they got done really dirty in the rules. But they're all. I used the Dark Elf Corsair kit for like most of their parts. They've all got a little crossbow, kind of splinter pistols and stuff. So yeah, definitely Dark Elves Pirates. That's a good shout.
And what was the reasoning for opening up your Instagram account? Because we're not really asked. I mean, we don't really ask people these sort of questions, like why. Like, obviously you want to show off your stuff, but what was the reason? Was that the main reasoning for opening your Instagram page?
Oh yeah. I mean, to be honest, the main reason was just to kind of track my painting a little bit. I didn't really know what to expect. I mean, I had a personal account, but I didn't really use it. I don't think I'd posted anything on my personal account for like, I don't know, 8 months or something. So I really didn't know what to expect with making the account. And I think since I've done it, it's really developed into being able to talk to so many amazing kind of artists and stuff, and it's really opened my eyes to how wide a community there is, because like I said, I really didn't, before I made the account, I really didn't know what was out there, and I think I'm still used to the sense that collecting Warhammer and stuff it wasn't regarded as like cool, or you were kind of targeted as different if you did it right, and I was used to that in school. So I think when I started again, I kind of didn't really realize that there was this huge community of people that were all kind of like chatting together, and that's something that I've really enjoyed after making the account, is being encouraged to just embrace the hobby, and I think now I found that I'm much more open to people that I'm engaged with it, and I think that's the biggest thing for me, is just the freedom to explore and be inspired by different creators. So
Exactly. And like if you said a year ago or 2 years ago that you'd be on a podcast speaking about
yeah,
your hobby, same as myself, like I thought, nah, that would never have happened. And
yeah,
I think we all, once we put on that first miniature and we find that there's other people out there, I think you do resort back to when you were in primary or high school, when it was like geeky and you get battered and your head would get flushed down the toilet. Whereas like now it's like, even though it is still niche,
yeah,
but there's just so many people out there, and it's worldwide now
yeah,
as well. And you can speak to people from like Australia and South Africa and wherever,
yeah, definitely.
which is brilliant for the hobby as well.
Yeah, it's awesome, and just the diversity of like ideas. Just it really makes me just want to try loads of new techniques, and especially seeing all like people using 3D printed parts and stuff, and that was just something I never really got involved with. And so it's I mean, I work in like a creative job, so it's really helpful for me. I find it a great. I really like the hobby because it helps me be creative in a way that I don't have to think about work as well. So it's great.
And it's also, I mean, I feel as though the hobby as well, like, we are big mental health advocates on the Inquisition, because I do feel that for men, we do kind of bottle up our feelings. I think with the hobby, it does help you have that downtime and give you that wee bit of a mental health break. Do you find that helps your mental health or anything else? De-stress yourself after a hard day's work?
Yeah, definitely. I find it really beneficial for my mental health. Yeah, for sure. I think just the ability to just switch everything off. Like you can't, when you're concentrating on a miniature, you've got it up to your face. I feel like it's just you and the paint, just being neat or whatever, and you can't really think about anything else. So it's actually really great to switch your mind off, and I find that really quite therapeutic. It's really good.
Until you find that your wife throws a remote control and bounces off your head because she's asked you a question 5 times.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Just
Well, you look up and it's been like 2 hours. You're like, oh, okay.
Yeah. And the room's just dark. It's just you sitting there. Yeah. And then you got upstairs, she's pretending to be sleeping, but she's just absolutely living with you.
You said it's going to be half an hour.
I know.
It's never half an hour.
It's never half. It's like when a woman says that I think I was like having a joke with Brooke about it on her stories, the Real Housewife of the Underhive. But it's like when a girl says she's going to be half an hour, it's going to be at least an hour. I think that's the same for us when we're doing the hobby. It's just the reverse factor of it now.
Maybe add another hour onto that.
Yeah, 100%. Like it's just the time just flies in. I feel when you're doing it, especially if you're doing something. I mean, it is something that we all love, obviously, and it just the time flies in for me.
Yeah, it really does. I think when you're concentrating like that, it's you kind of sometimes you forget. Yeah, I haven't drunk anything. I haven't eaten. I'm like, where have I been? What's happened? My whole brain just turned off. It's quite amazing. Yeah, I think sometimes I set an alarm for myself to like snap myself out of it.
Yeah. And have you tried to get your partner involved, or is that a strict?
No, not really. She's not really into kind of any fantasy kind of stuff. So it's definitely more my thing, and I think she's happy. It makes me happy. So that's good for us.
And were you seeing her? Obviously, you started doing it back in 2017. Were you together then, or were you single then?
We were together then, yeah. So we'd already been together for a long time. So it was too late then for her to.
So how did you slowly integrate it? Was it just started off with a paintbrush one day, and then before you knew it, like she was just overwhelmed?
I think I just blamed my friend I just like, oh, he's forcing me to do it. I'm just doing it to help him. And really, it was, after a little while, it's like, all right, it's not him, it's me.
It's peer pressure, I'm telling you,
Yeah,
it's peer
yeah,
pressure.
yeah. I promise it's not him.
It's not what it looks like.
Yeah.
And if you have any kids, have they sparked any interest, or are they maybe too young?
No,
Or
they're too young at the moment. But I'd be keen to, like do get them into the hobby. I think it'd be interesting. Who knows? I think it'd be great if they were kind of, had some interest in like art, and it would be cool to paint stuff together. But yeah, we'll see. I try not to like force it on them, because I think there's nothing worse than like your old man trying to like force you to to do a hobby you just really don't want to do. But yeah, fingers crossed. It would be nice. I would like it. It would be cool.
yeah, 100%. Like, my middle daughter, she's into her art, so she's painted a guy, and she's got an art degree now, and I'm trying to tell her how to do painting. She's like, I've got the art degree here. Like,
Yeah.
what are you talking about?
Yeah.
But you're doing it wrong. Like, don't touch my brush. She's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
I'm an artist. But, aye. So I might as well bring that up. How does it feel to be the Penge Hammer Euros champion?
Oh, it feels great. Sorry to Celestial Lion. I stole the victory. Scotland all the way. Yeah, no regrets.
I must say, like your figure was absolutely fantastic. Being totally biased, it was absolutely fantastic, and
Yeah,
I was rooting for you from. So we're back with part two. Hopefully the Gremlins have been sorted on the Inquisition podcast this week, and we can get it back up rocking and rolling. Hopefully all the technical issues will have been resolved, and we can get back some his tour with his as he's the Penge Hammer champion.
there we go.
Sorry about that, man. I don't know what's going on tonight.
Doesn't like me today.
Tipping on Instagram. So a question I actually was going to ask you, and I know it's the Nerdlands ADHD, it's the stupid Nerdlands. Question I was going to ask you, and I only remembered when I seen your name pop back up. Where does the Bannon Paints come from? Where does your username come from?
It used to be my gamer tag on like I think it was Xbox back in the day. But yeah, so it's kind of a throwback to my. I don't really play any kind of video games anymore because I've got kids. So I don't really have time. But yeah, it was kind of a throwback to my kind of gamer days.
And what would have been your game? What would have been your genre of choice back in the day for computer games?
I used to play all sorts of stuff. Like I actually I think I had one of each console. So like not at the same time. Just I've had like consoles since I was probably about 8, and it was all sorts of stuff like like Age of Empires on the PC, like just gonna pick like one like GoldenEye, Perfect Dark, N64, that kind of stuff. Bit of Call of Duty, bit of racing. Yeah, so I wasn't really like one genre. I used to play all sorts of stuff. Bit of there was a game I used to love called Smite, which was this like laned game where you'd control Greek and the mythological gods and stuff, because I quite like my kind of classics and mythology. So yeah, that was great. I've just seen someone put Halo. Yeah, Halo was amazing. Halo 3 is incredible. So yeah, loads of different stuff. Like I'm trying to think. I mean, I'm in my like mid-30s, so it was loads of old school games like Spyro the Dragon, like all of that kind of stuff. Like tons of it. Yeah,
Yeah,
That's
I'm 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 elbow deep in Elden Ring, the
nice.
DLC right now, and I'm just loving. I just love Dark Souls games. They are
Yeah.
just the lore and the storyline is just exquisite. I just love that.
Mm.
But
I mean, it fits really well with like the kind of grim dark, you know, sort of style, doesn't it? Yeah,
yeah,
Dark Souls stuff. Um, I'm just trying to think of some like other niche like games I used to play. I used to be really obsessed with the, I don't know if you ever played it, but like the Thief series of games that was on computer.
yeah.
And
I remember seeing that. But one of the games that I don't know if you played it, but you had to play it with your mates was
oh,
Commando, and you'd go
oh
a different commando each.
yes, that was awesome. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Like
that was
Streets
like
of Rage on the Sega
yeah.
as well.
Yeah, man. That was savage. And me and my mates used to play Counter Strike
Oh,
back in the day, but me and my mates shared a flat, and if we were playing online, if one of us died, which was usually me, I would just start shouting in the house where people were. So we were always winning. People were accusing us of wall hacks, and but no, we just lived in the same house. We're just shouting where we were.
just shouted.
Because you had that free roam camera where you could see where everybody was. Like, there's somebody coming in the vent, and
Yeah.
then the vent would get
Yeah.
obliterated. These are cheating. Not well, we are technically, but not
Yeah,
with
yeah.
wall hacks or headshot. Uh,
We used to do when we were in uni. We used to do a drinking game for N64. We bought like a second hand one, like but bought like 4 controllers. We used to do GoldenEye, Drink If You Die, and it just got really messy real fast. Basically, like
yeah.
yeah. The more you drink, the more you die, and yeah, then that's the end of your night.
When my kids were younger, we used to resolve any arguments or heated discussions with Mortal Kombat.
Nice.
I
Yeah.
would get them to play Mortal Kombat, and if somebody was refusing to do the dishes, then it would be Mortal Kombat to see who'd washed and who dried. That was
Yeah. Odd Job was banned. No odd jobs allowed. Yeah, it was Temple, one shot kill, pistols only. No odd jobs allowed. You just like run around, no one can hit you.
I'm going to say out to Delta actually. I don't remember Vigilante 8. I
No,
don't remember that.
I don't remember Vigilante 8. I do remember Command and Conquer. That was really good.
Oh yeah, like we used to was like, the big games when I was in my early 20s. Was Command and Conquer Red Alert 2 and then Command and Conquer Tiberian Wars.
Oh.
And me and my mates were massive football manager fans.
Mm.
So we ended up we'd always go like Man U, Arsenal or Liverpool, and we would have a spreadsheet set up. So if you get player of the month, manager of the month, young player of the month, and goal of the month, you would get £1 million off each of your mates.
Mm.
But you weren't allowed to. At the end of the season, you then have to, when you got your budget, you would have to like pay who you owed, and you weren't allowed to buy any players. We would waste weekends in the flat just
Yeah.
playing that. It was mental.
Yeah, definitely. I was just thinking. I used to play the old school like old Elder Scrolls games like Morrowind. Like, I mean that game I must have put just an embarrassing amount of hours into that, and like Skyrim as well. Just I think like if all that time I spent on like Morrowind and Skyrim, I could have like created some kind of mad business empire by now.
Yeah.
Like,
I've said this story about 100 times, but I'm going to say it again anyway. I hate Skyrim because I played Skyrim at the start and I thought, oh, this is brilliant. Get absolutely destroyed with people because I was like, obviously too low level. And then you got that chick that carried all your stuff,
yeah.
and then she just disappeared. And I was just left with all my rubbish armor and weapons, and that was me. I just gave up, and I gave up in Skyrim then, and just went back to Dark Souls.
Fair enough. Yeah. Yeah. I mean that'll happen when someone nicks all your stuff.
I was like, where did she go? She just disappeared. I was like, where is she? But
She
yeah,
just ran off a cliff and
yeah, that
died
was it.
somewhere.
And I was like, never to be seen again. And I was like, oh, God damn it. But back to Delta X, everyone I've asked doesn't remember it. And that's probably because you made that game up, Delta X. That's probably the reason why. But yeah.
Morrowind and Oblivion, Quality Gate, yeah. Macho Man Randy Savage Dragon mod. Oh my god.
This is what happens when you mention something old school. People just start chucking out all their old mods and they get fucked on. Here, mate, I'm fucked. I've done my shoulder, my arm in. This is what happens when you
Yeah,
bring up these old school games like that. People just start reminiscing. Like, I remember we were playing international superstar soccer one night, and if you won, you stayed on, but you had to take a shot of absinthe. And I think my mate won like 8 games in a row, and then finally get beat, and then walked into a wall. But he was like destroying people. It was, like, the thing you do when you're young and stupid, though, do you know what I mean? When you get computer
yeah,
games. But,
definitely. Yeah.
so when
So
you, so apart from, would you not get back into your computer games then, like the likes like Space Marine 2 coming out and
yeah,
the Inquisition and all that?
I'd love to, but I think I so in COVID I bought I wanted to buy a PS5 to like play with all of my mates because otherwise I think they all got one. It was that like mad time where you just couldn't get any because all
Yeah.
scalpers were stealing them all, and I ended up just getting a PS4. I was like, look, I'm going to be sat on my own if I don't get something, so I went and got it. I don't know if that's going to cut it for the new like Space Marine 2. I don't even know if it's going to run on a PS4 anymore. If it does, then great, I'll play it. But I think yeah, since I had my kid, I haven't really the PlayStation sits in their bedroom, so I just don't really have time to use it. But I'd love to. I'd love to play again. I would. It's just finding some time. I think maybe when they're a bit older, I have a bit more space. I think I'll probably get back into it. But yeah.
So when you're, is there any other hobbies that you're into, like, apart from the painting, is there anything else that you do that's not like painting or plastic track related?
Yeah, so I'd like to kind of sort of do some active hobbies. So I do a bit of bouldering, a bit of rock climbing indoors, which is quite good. And I mean, I haven't played for a little while, but I used to play rugby for my local team, rugby union. So that was my kind of big hobby. But I find it's quite hard to to play rugby casually as a hobby because you're either in or you're out because you're training twice a week and then playing on Saturday, and sometimes you're traveling like 2 hours, to go away somewhere like miserable, and just yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot to give up of your week.
Yeah.
I, I really enjoyed it. I've played for about 12 years, so played a long time. But yeah, just I think I'm kind of getting to the point now where I'm not sure I'm gonna go back. But the bouldering was great because it gives you that kind of physical hit of. I'm also scared of heights, which is a terrible idea to like go to like do climbing as a hobby. But like that kind of like getting over my kind of anxiety of heights, I find that it was a good replacement for rugby because rugby is a big like kind of adrenaline dump.
Yeah.
So I find like bouldering is good, and that another thing good for your mental health as well because you've got to like think about the route and figure out how you're going to get up there and get down again. So I really enjoy that.
And what position did you play in rugby?
I used to play loose head, number 1. Yeah.
I'd have,
So
I'd have been right beside you. I used to play rugby union as well over here in Ireland.
Yeah.
I think as well, you said you're in your mid-30s. It starts to take you longer, especially if you're strumming a lot, because the backs always knock it on for some mental reason.
yeah.
The strumming just takes out you, and then before you've got a sore neck, and then before you know it, it's Wednesday.
Yeah.
You're back at training.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And then before you know it, it's Saturday, and then you're getting 50,000 knock-ons because your back can't keep a hold of the ball.
I think my wife's quite glad that I don't play that often anymore because she's just sick of me moaning about how like sore I am the next day.
One of the first games that I played over here in Ireland once we set up the rugby team was up in Coleraine University, and I went in for a ruck, got the ball, and I get cleaned right out. It was a great clean out, but I felt my arm pulling. I thought, dead sore. And being a football player, I'm not used to if somebody's injured to stop. And I was rolling about, going, man. And somebody at the sideline went, mate, this is rugby. Nobody's going to stop for you. So I got up, did a few of them. And I thought, man, feels good. First line out, dislocated my shoulder.
Nice.
And then everybody went home apart from one guy who was nominated to stay and wait for me. And I phoned up my wife and I was like, yeah, I've dislocated my shoulder. He's like, where are you? And I was like, oh, Kilrain, 2.5 hours away. But the rugby's, I love rugby. Like, all my kids played rugby. But I think as time goes on, like, the body just doesn't recuperate, especially being front row.
Yeah.
It's just sore.
Yeah, it is. I loved it, and I might play a few here and there, I think. But yeah, it does kind of catch up to you after a while. I mean, I'm covered in injuries as well. I tore my pec. So I had to have surgery to reattach it, and you know, I've had like dislocated fingers and all sorts. So it catches up to you after a while.
And then your partner, your wife, goes out to you because it's a game that you're not getting paid to do, and you're putting yourself through this punishment. Is it worth it? Of course, it's worth it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you know, walk around and sound like a haunted house because all my joints are just like so creaky.
Yeah, and then you complain the entire summer about, I'm not going back. I'm done. I'm never going back. And then it's pre-season. Oh, I might just go down and see how the boys are getting on, and then before you know it, you're committed to another season.
Yes, it's that plastic crack mentality, isn't
it? 100%. Yeah, then we've just changed the oval shaped egg to plastic crack now.
Exactly. Yeah. It was an easy transition.
So when you're doing your wee plastic crack and you're painting your models and winning Euro Pen Charmer 2024, what crisp do you like to snack on?
Ooh. I like there's a brand called Roysters, and they do a T-bone steak flavour crisp.
Yep.
And I really like them. I also I got a soft spot for Knick Knacks as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I do like a Knick. I like the scampi and lemon Knick Knacks. They are top tier Knick Knacks.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And what would be your bottom tier crisp?
Oof. Probably Walkers, if I'm honest. They're just a bit like meh. They're like the ultramarines of the crisp world, I think. Yeah.
Fair enough.
They're just, they're fine. Yeah.
They do a job.
Yeah, they get you there, but they're not all that.
And obviously, if you're playing rugby, you're doing boat races, and if you've had a bad game and you've been nominated for a dirty pint, you have to do a dirty pint. But when you're painting your minis, what would be your drink of choice? Be it alcoholic or non-alcoholic?
Drink of choice. That's a good question. I mean, if it's in the summer, it's got to be just like a nice cold lager. I like Madri at the moment. Just fresh out the fridge. It's really good. I'm originally from Dorset, so I do quite like a kind of old man's ale. Like a kind of proper beer out of the pump. So not that I have that at home, but they're not too bad out of a bottle. But yeah.
What about fizzy juice wise? What would you like fizzy juice wise? Are you a Coca-Cola man or a Pepsi man or Dandelion and Burdock, which is mental?
Yeah, what even is that?
I don't know.
I used to have that in my at Christmas. It was like, does anyone actually like this? Why do we keep buying this stuff?
I know.
I quite like Fanta. I'm an orange Fanta guy. Yeah.
The drink of the Nazis back in the Second World War.
There we go.
That is fact, because Coca-Cola couldn't sell. Coca-Cola weren't allowed to export or sell Coca-Cola in Germany, so the Coca-Cola factories in Germany rebranded themselves to being Fanta, and then when the Second World War finished, Coca-Cola then bought the Fanta factories, and then that's how Fanta came about. So there you go.
There we go. The more you know.
The more you know. This is what happens when you're up at 5 o'clock in the morning with a colicky 2-year-old wee boy, and you've got Open University and BBC Two back in the day. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
Too much time on our hands.
yeah, and you're trying to get babies to sleep when they don't want to sleep. But yeah, so is there any other? Obviously, you're into Warhammer. Is there anything else that you're into, like Star Wars or Marvel or anything else like that?
Yeah. I'm a big like fantasy nerd. I mean, I love Star Wars. I've read loads of the books. Probably played most of the Star Wars games that have been made, like video game wise. I'm really into like Lord of the Rings and that kind of stuff as well. So yeah, very big like fantasy background. I think that like influences a lot of my minis as well, actually. Just that kind of
And what do you think of Did you watch The Acolyte? What did you think of it?
I haven't watched it yet, but I did have a question for you actually, because you there was I think you were talking to SJ Paintslayer, and you said that there was a Boba Fett book that you read that made you hate, like that you like really hated. I really want to know what that was.
I think it's in my loft somewhere. I will dig it out, but it just and no disrespect to female authors. I love a lot of female authors, but this female author did Boba Fett dirty. And I'm a big Boba Fett fan.
Yeah, me too.
And that was the book that just kind of put me off Star Wars and got me into actual reading Horus Heresy. Was that book? Because I was looking for something. Because I've read a ton of Star Wars books, and I think it was just the way it was going. It was just, I think it was like we had the heyday of the Timothy Zahn and Heir to the Empire and Truce of Bakura. We had all these top tier books and trilogies of the Darth Bane trilogy, and we had all that, and it just felt as though it's kind of like The Simpsons. The Simpsons had like up to season 7 or 8 was like highlight The Simpsons, and it kind of just fell apart. And that's how I felt that Star Wars book went. And another Star Wars book that I read, which was probably one of the best. The first half of the book was probably one of the best Star Wars books I've read. Was a book called Death Troopers. Have you read that?
No, I've not read that one. No.
So basically, the premise of the book is there's this Star Destroyer, and it's just this prisoner ship comes across this Star Destroyer that's just floating in space, and it's basically Stormtrooper zombies.
Oh right, okay.
I'm like, oh, this is really brilliant! Like, really, really good book, and it's a bit of virus that the Palpatine was trying to develop, like doing basically biological warfare. And then they go into the depths of the Star Destroyer to the prison deck, and there's a Wookiee and a smuggler there, and I was like, oh no. It was Han Solo and Chewbacca, and I was like, oh, do you just know that they're going to survive the book? You know what I mean? It's like, no, like, I wanted the book was doing really well up until then, but then you just know that everybody, they're going to survive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, oh, you just kind of ruined that book now. Like,
yeah.
Still a good book. It was a really good book. It was a good idea. Zombie, like kind of Walking Dead stormtroopers type thing. But yeah, what I'll do is I'll try and find that book, and I'll DM it to you.
Yeah, I'd be interested to know what it was. So you weren't a big fan of the series, the Boba Fett series, because I'm not sure about it to be myself.
I thought they did Boba Fett a bit dirty again. Like, they kind of made them, and they kind of portrayed the Sand People in a certain way, which was all right. But Boba Fett was just a badass, wasn't he? Really, like,
yeah. I don't know.
He had 3 lines in the Empire Strikes Back, and that's what everybody loved about Boba Fett. Wasn't
yeah,
it?
I think he was. They were quite good. He was quite good in the Mandalorian, but I think they just kind of kept taking his helmet off in the series, and he was basically like a dad trying to like manage a kind of crash of angry teenagers.
Yeah,
it was just a bit weird. So anyway, that's my hot take.
Yeah, like the Ahsoka. I liked Ahsoka. I thought Ahsoka was really good.
That was really good. Yeah,
I really did enjoy that, and especially seeing Grand Admiral Thrawn in live action was brilliant. And Also seen Ezra doing stuff without lightsabers, fighting without the lightsaber.
Hmm.
I thought, uh, and I thought that was brilliant. Uh, and there's some really nice moments in the Acolyte. The lightsaber fights are
Hmm.
absolutely immense in it. I thought, like, they are probably one of the better lightsaber fights that we've seen,
Yeah.
probably since the prequels. To be honest, like the lightsaber fights are really really good in it.
Yeah.
And I did like a couple of the characters, but I think probably my favourite character of the new Star Wars series is all in is probably Skull from the Acolyte.
Yeah.
I think he was a really good character. Just a pity he's dead now.
Spoiler
It'll be
alert.
interesting. It'll be interesting to see. No, but the actual guy's dead.
Hmm.
The guy
Oh,
that played him.
yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see how they recast and how that goes, because I just thought that he was
Yeah.
kind of like a grumpy Ben Kenobi. What did you think?
Think Kenobi. It was okay. It wasn't as good as I was expecting. I thought it was going to be better than it was, but it had some really good moments in it. Like, I mean, you know, if everyone's not seen it, like close your ears. But seeing like Qui-Gon Jinn at the end was really cool. That kind of stuff, and the lightsaber fights were pretty good. But it was a bit kind of. I always felt like I don't know, they kind of made a load. They made a load of scenes as filler because they couldn't make the whole thing about Darth Vader and him fighting each other.
Yeah.
But overall, I thought it was all right. Yeah.
My take on the Kenobi series was: have you read the Kenobi book or listened to the Kenobi book? That's really, really good.
No, I'll please check that out.
I think they should have just kept him on Tatooine, to be
Yeah.
honest. And I would like to have seen. I think if they kind of did a live action version of his fight with Darth Maul, scene for scene, like they did in Rebels, that would have been cool to see
Yeah, that would have been amazing.
in live action as well, with Ray Park and even Sam Witwer doing the voice for Maul, or even having Stephen Elwitz back. I just felt once you introduced Princess Leia, it's like no, I didn't really like that move on it. I think if you're going to do a kind of normal serial weekly adventure, have them fight the Sand People or have them fight a Krayt Dragon or cross paths with the Mandalorians or Inquisitors. I mean, I would have kept them on, but obviously that's not my prerogative. Do you get to the cinema much? What would be your preferred genre of film in the cinema?
It's, sometimes I've just been seeing the last one I saw was the latest Dune film, which was really good. I mean, I've read all the books, so I don't think it's quite as good as good as the books, but it was pretty incredible. I think it's more of like a visual experience, isn't it?
Yeah.
The films that it's all about the kind of nice shots and the kind of artistic kind of landscapes. But yeah, I really like that. I think genre-wise, I quite like I said, I quite like fantasy stuff. I quite like I like my old school action movies. I like my 80s kind of, Sylvester Stallone, Demolition Man, and like Predator, all of the classics. So there's a cinema in London that do showings of like older films like that, so I like going down there and seeing them on a big screen. It's pretty cool. I watched one of my favorite films is The Thing with Kurt Russell. Yeah, and I saw that on the big screen. That was awesome. Just being it. I think
I would like to see Predator in big screen. I think that would be pretty cool.
That would be really cool. Yeah. Well, they do like anniversary viewing. So maybe when Predator's like 30 years old or something, they'll do like a special showing. Cool. Really cool to see.
Yeah. And
the Running Man.
Predator, the Running Man. 100%.
So good. Yeah.
I mean, you've just got to love Arnold Schwarzenegger's one-liners. To be honest,
they're perfect.
Yeah. Right. My favourite one is in Commando, where he breaks the guy's neck, and the air hostess goes, "Oh, you need to sit down." You go, "Oh, don't make my friend. He's dead." And then he goes, he needs to sit down when I'm about to take off. He goes, I'm airsick. Like, we don't even take off yet. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I love all the like. There's I think it's in Predator when he like sticks someone against a pillar with a knife. He's like, stick around, you know.
Yeah.
or just Jesse Ventura being like, I ain't got time to bleed, you know.
Yeah.
Just that's so good.
Have you ever seen the YouTube channel Honest Trailers?
Yes, they are great.
And the Predator one, where it's like most of the film is just watching trees, and then you watch the film, it's like they do actually just look at trees
Yeah.
pretty much all the time.
Yeah. It like ruined the film for you, like.
Yeah. Absolutely sensational. But I like, you can't beat a good Arnie film, like when he signs the form in Running Man and uses the pen to stab into the guy's back and says, "Aye."
Yeah, that's good.
Running Man's, I've read, like, Running Man is a great. I love anything Arnold does, like even Kindergarten Cop, like that is a top tier.
That is great. Yeah, like it's not a tumor.
Yeah. Just, I mean, he is just. Have you watched the new Beverly Hills Cop film?
No, is that what? No, I haven't seen
It's
it.
on Netflix. It's actually pretty good.
Another
It
great
is.
series, but yeah, I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, it is. It is actually quite good. It's better than Beverly Hills Cop 3, which was pretty poor. But yeah, like it is worth a watch. Like, I watched it with my wee fella there the other week, and they kept making references to titty bars, and they don't actually go in a titty bar. I think this is the only film where they don't go in a titty bar, but they keep making references to it, which was quite good because like what the old characters come back.
Okay.
Like, your man who he had to drive the Ferrari for the second one. He's now the chief of police or something, or the lieutenant.
Yeah, the young guy. Yeah.
Yeah, he was in the Aliens in that as well.
Yeah.
It was pretty good. So you're just trying to go back on hobby now, because we've talked enough about non-hobby stuff. If you could paint a model again for the first time, what would it be? And is there any model that you see as your Everest that you would like to get to?
I'd love to. Like I said that my mum painted this Bloodthirster for me. I would love to paint that. Go back and paint that metal one myself. And yeah, I think that would be a cool kind of experience, doing that one. It's such a classic thing. I mean, I wouldn't want to store it afterwards because I'm just nervous looking at it. I've got other metal models. You can't breathe near them because otherwise their arms will fall off. But in terms of something that I want to, like an Everest, I think if I'm going to go something just totally massive and crazy, it would be either the Archeon model where he's riding that three-headed dragon, or my kind of favorite model when I was a kid was the elf prince on the dragon, the high elf prince on the dragon. That was my kind of. I always wanted that model, and I still kind of keep an eye out on eBay to see if I can get it, and paint it up. I'd love to paint that now.
So if you hear it here first, if you know anybody with what Baron's looking for, drop him a DM.
Yeah, definitely.
He'll sort him out, and he'll sort you out. Do you play Warhammer, or is it just the painting aspect that you do?
I've been playing a bit more recently. I'm pretty good at forgetting all my rules, and I'm also really terrible at knowing any of the lore. So I have been enjoying. I've been enjoying playing 10th with friends. We normally play at least once a month, which is good. So yeah, I do enjoy the playing side as well, but I'm very slow at painting. So half of my army's just base coated still. So yeah, don't judge me too harshly.
I still painted them minimize as long as there's paint on it.
Yeah,
But,
exactly.
but you not find though, like obviously you've been away for such a long time. There's just so much to remember.
Yeah.
Wait, like I'm a new player, like brand new player. Like, I've not played since December. I'm still emotionally tired after the 3 games that I played in December. There's just so much to remember.
Mm.
Do you not find?
I do, yeah. I have to have I have like a notebook that I write like rules to remind myself, and I still forget half of them. And you know, it's only till you're like on your way home you just remember, like, God, I had all these stratagems that I could have used, and I didn't use any. I just forgot that they existed. But I'm quite a competitive person, so when I get into it, I'm like, you know, I'm kind of really in the zone. So sometimes I just kind of forget to like take a step back and just have a little think about what to do. I'm a bit kind of charged down the middle and, you know, hack and slash my way out.
Yeah, I thought that I used a proxy for Mortarion. Somebody 3D printed me a kind of Mortarion, and it's terribly painted. And I thought, right, I've got a Mortarion. He is just going to decimate everybody, and they get absolutely destroyed in turn one off like two
Yeah.
these tanks. I'm like, dude, it's supposed to be a demon prince and like one of the best guys, and they get absolutely like,
Yeah.
fingered.
New
and
new
not
mo-
nice
new
way.
model syndrome, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I had the
Well, and
same. Yeah.
not knowing how to play the game properly, I just went, you know what, Mortarion will just take care of
Yeah.
everybody.
Well, I mean, I had my mate like one-shotted my brand new like painted up dreadnought Redemptor. Just absolutely ended it in one hit, and I was like, great. Like, turn one.
But it's my
Just like
best painted model. You're like, oh well,
I just packed up my stuff and went. I was like, that's enough.
it's my models and I'm not playing it anymore.
Yeah.
It's my dice.
Don't shoot my boys.
So you're playing Space Marines and you've got an Eldari and Space Marine army. Are
Yes.
you looking to break into a third army or?
No, I'm trying to be good. I'm trying to be good. I was notorious for doing that, and I'm trying to keep with my two armies. Although saying that, I did buy myself a Warcry warband, so I'm also a hypocrite.
Yeah. That doesn't count
Yeah.
though, because that's not Warhammer 40k.
That's true.
That's totally a different game
That's
system,
true,
so that's totally fine. Yeah, like I've got Necrons, I'm now dabbling in Grey Knights, and obviously my Death Guard army's ever expanding. Like I've got some Death Shroud there. I actually just need to finish actually paint. I've based them and primed them, but I just not painted them
Nice,
yet.
yeah.
Because I'm just concentrating on this Grey Knight
Yeah.
stuff. Like with the release of that Grey Knight stuff yesterday, how do you feel
Yeah.
about the models? Because it is quite a fat boy. I mean,
Yeah.
basically,
I've seen a lot of different opinions on it. I mean, my first thought on it was that it just looks a bit weird. I mean, I know that someone put a lot of effort into like sculpting it, and I'm not saying it's like, you know, unusable. I think you can use it for like a good kit bash, but I think the proportions of it just look a bit weird. It just
Yeah.
looks like the legs and torso just don't seem to like match up, and the armor, I think, in my opinion, looks a bit too plain. I think when you see the artwork, it looks more kind of ornamented. It's meant to be, I think it's meant to have more kind of decoration and like kind of purity seals and stuff, and it just doesn't have anything.
Yeah.
It's just, I think maybe that accentuates it, I don't know, but yeah, I don't know. I wasn't that impressed with it, but I can see that it would be useful. You could make a cool like I think you could make a cool like Space Marine captain with it or something, but maybe not for that Inquisitor.
Yeah, I think the thing that drew my eyes to it right away, and probably a lot of it, is the big eye right at the crotch.
Mm.
Do you know what
Yeah.
I mean? It's like,
It's hard to not see that. Yeah.
yeah, it's like that's what brings you straight to that model, and I think that's what just kind of puts me off it as well. Is it's just so out of place.
Mm.
It's maybe he's trying to make up for other things that are small. You know what I mean, but
Small personality.
yeah, he's got small personality, but it just doesn't look right. It's like I was quite vocal on the Mechanicum thing that was released a few years ago. That guy that was in stilts, and
Yeah.
you know what I mean. And I got a bit of kickback from that, which was brilliant because like this guy kept commenting on people that were commenting on my initial comment, which just gave me more people exposure to other people, which was nice of him, even though he was trying to like,
Yeah.
whatever. And yeah, if you don't like the model, obviously don't buy it. But like, there is balance, and I think you gave balance to the model there.
Mm.
But when criticism's due, it is due at the same point as well. And obviously, people will buy it because they'll buy it because they want it. And like Games Workshop need to understand it. Not everyone, and I understand that somebody's put their blood, sweat, and tears into that. For me, it's the big eye in the middle is just out of place for me.
I think it's I don't think it's very representative of the character it's meant to be.
Yeah.
Personally, so yeah, I can see both sides, but I mean personally, I didn't think it was. I don't really think it hit the mark very well. But yeah.
And is there any model out there or not out there that you would like to see made or remade or?
I'd love for them to do a new Asdrubal Vect model for Drukhari. I think it would be a great like Primarch, type model that you could do for Drukhari. I think that would be something that I'd really love to see, and maybe like on a new, like a brand new vehicle that we haven't seen before. Like don't just chuck him on like a Raider, put him on like a new kind of thing that we haven't seen before. I think that would be really awesome. Yeah, definitely that one.
And like, obviously with the lore and that out there, what type of vehicle would you like to see? Is there anything like in the lore that's been mentioned that's not been made that you would like to see?
I'm not sure. I mean, I know there used to be something called a Reaper, which they took off of the Forge World website, so they discontinued it. So hopefully if they make I mean, we haven't had our codex yet, so now's a perfect time. GW, if you're listening, it's the time is now. Bring him back with something to replace that Reaper. I think that'd be really cool.
And is it scheduled when your codex is coming out? Because I know is it this year or is it maybe early next year?
Yeah, I don't know actually. I feel like it might be next year. But I can't quite remember. I think it's one of the last ones, to be honest, which is a bit annoying. But I mean, yeah, sometimes the indexes are okay to carry on with. And I know a lot of people have had, like the Dark Angels, for example. They were all a bit disappointed with their codex.
Yeah.
So I'm not mad at it, but it would be nice. I think Drukhari needs some love. I think they have a lot of old sculpts that could do with updating.
Because the lore is like fantastic. Like they're basically the Sith of the Elder, really,
Yeah.
and they like leather and darkness, don't they? Like
Yeah, leather and darkness. Yeah.
and like wee bit of torture as well. Like, I mean, it's something I've looked at, but I just think my painting skills and the fiddliness of them, I don't think I would do the models justice. But I do like the lore, and I would like to see if you can recommend any like Dark Elder book. Then if you can DM me later on,
Sure.
because I'm just finishing up Indomitus, so I've pretty much worked all my back catalogue out. So I listen to the bits when I go fishing. So yeah, if you can recommend any good Dark Elder book or Eldari, whatever they're called this week.
I do have one that I can't remember the title, but I'll DM you when I find it. It's Kakaradon Space Marines versus Drukhari, so that's very cool book.
Oh, right. That would be cool. Because it's just something different. Because I've obviously did a lot of the Horus Heresy books, and I've re-listened to Betrayer and the First Heretic, and just want something a wee bit different as well.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I've listened to a couple of the Necron books as well, so I'm just trying to expand my lore knowledge on.
Yeah.
And it's obviously like the kind of darkness of the Dark Elder kind of draws you. It's more interesting than Space Marines and normal nice Elder. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So, What was I going to ask there? So, do all your mates that you played with back in the day, do they still play, or is it just a few of you now? And
Just a few of us now. Different people live in different countries and stuff. So yeah, there's just a couple of us that still play. But yeah, so got a guy that plays Iron Warriors, another guy that plays Tyranids, and then a couple of new guys that play Imperial Guard and Nurgle Demons. So good diverse selection.
you would think that we also, as you're saying about the Dark Eldari, like the Imperial Guard need a wee bit of love
Yeah,
as well.
they do.
Do you
Yeah.
not think? And has there ever been like a kind of chaos Imperial Guard, anything like that? Because like, obviously some of them fell with the heresy, but they all just gobbled up and mutated or what?
I feel like a lot of the cultists are sort of Imperial
Right.
Guardsmen, aren't they? Really. I mean, like I said, my knowledge of the law is pretty terrible, so I'm probably not the guy to ask. But I mean, um, I know there's stuff like the Dark Mechanicum. That's not really like Guard, but I think the Guard. I think you could probably do some really cool Iron Warriors stuff with a lot of the Guard tanks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure on the law side.
And when you're painting yourself, like obviously people like to listen to music or listen to podcasts or have their wife rabbiting on in their ear, like my missus does. How do you paint? Do you paint in silence, or do you have anything in the background or anything that
Um,
you listen to?
I like to put stuff like battle reports on in the background from like Tabletop Tactics or like Winter's SEO, which are good. Or I'll chuck an audio book on or something. But I also like listening to kind of movie and game soundtracks in the background. That's always quite good. Like game soundtracks, like kind of composed to help you concentrate. So I find they're really nice to listen to, kind of in the
Yeah.
background when you're painting. Yeah, trying to think of a good example. I mean, sorry to say, but the Skyrim soundtrack is one of my go-tos. Just nice to kind of have in the background. Yeah,
Have you listened to any of the Dark Souls soundtracks?
yeah, they're good. They're really good actually. And there's a game called Dragon Age.
Yeah.
Dragon Age Origins, I think, which is a really good soundtrack.
Yeah, I've played
Yeah, I
that
think
game.
so. Yeah,
Yeah, it's quite. I like orchestral music
yeah,
in the background,
me too.
which
Yeah.
is like a lot of those games, which a lot of those games have. Like, I think probably my favourite one is probably the Dark Souls 3 soundtrack.
Hmm.
That is quite. I
Yeah,
love the DA series. Yeah, the Dragon Age. They are pretty savage games, and
really good.
as
Yeah.
you say, like it is kind of proper music in the aspect of like kind of classical
Hmm. Yeah.
movie score type music.
Yeah, I tend not to like have music with too many. I mean, I like quite a diverse range of music, but I tend to listen to stuff without like singing or words because I find that it's better in the background just to kind of concentrate. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Right, I'm going to have to wrap up there, right, because I need my painkillers and stuff because I'm struggling here.
Yeah,
I
no
do
worries.
apologise, and I do apologise for that. I just want to say thanks for having us on.
Here we go. I'll put my
Thanks for coming
I'll
on.
have my hat
Uh,
back on.
Yeah, that's brilliant, man. Absolutely, and what a brilliant way to have the 50th episode with yourself, Baron. Where do you, just before I go, what would you like to see from yourself in the next year? Where do you see yourself in the year in terms of your channel?
I'm not sure. I mean, I'm hoping to run a paint competition with maybe some prizes for my once I hit 15 1.5k. So that's my next kind of milestone that I'm hoping to get. So I've spoken to a few people, so I might hopefully have some cool stuff that we can put on as a couple of prizes. And then yeah, I just want to kind of keep improving really, and I mean, the ultimate goal is to enter something into Golden Demon. I think not really like in the view to win anything, just for the experience really. But yeah, my goal is just to kind of keep improving my painting and keep getting inspired by other accounts. So yeah.
We'd love to have you back on, obviously, with Casey at some point.
Yeah.
Once he moves eventually. It seems as though this move's been going on forever. For people that don't know where you are, you want to just shout out how they can find
Yes.
you?
So I'm just the Baron Paints on Instagram. Yeah, mainly just on Instagram. So that's kind of where to find me. And yeah, always keen to chat on DMs or otherwise. So yeah, send me a message or send me some good inspiration that you've seen or anything like that. I'm always keen to see new stuff.
Perfect. Thanks again for coming on. I'll get that book to you and tell you what book it was, because I can't
Amazing.
remember. I'll know it when I look at it. When I see the cover, because it still haunts me, I'll know exactly what book
Sounds
it is. Thanks for coming on again, Baron. Folks, give Baron a phone. Let's get him up to his 1,500 so we can make him stint by prices. Thanks again for coming on, man. Have a lovely rest of your week. Enjoy the rest of your night, mate.
Thanks, man.
Thanks for everybody, and we'll see you all next week.
Thank you very
In the introduction,
much.
take it easy.
See
Love
ya.
you all. Bye. Bye.